Welcome to Detroit. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass. You can drown them. And that's what we gotta be. That's who we have to be. Because that's our domain. That is our domain. Because we'll tread water as long as it takes to fucking bury you.
Takes the snap, turns, gives to Montgomery, right side, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions! Yes.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions friends, fans, and family members. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike. And as always, we're diving on in. So all you Lions doubters, all you SOL fans, everybody who wanted to absolutely dog the Lions, especially the offense, I'm just going to have to say it right now. Am I wrong now? Are the Lions absolutely trash? Are the Lions, not good anymore? Are they going to fall apart? Are they not going to be able to make the playoffs? I understand it. It was only one game. I understand it. You're all going to say, well, I got to need to see it again. But weren't those the same arguments you just made literally last week against the Packers? So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. I can tell you this 100% with authenticity and you can just verify it. The Detroit Lions absolutely Ben Johnson. Like Ben Johnson got Johnson. Like that is the best way to put this because the Lions absolutely annihilated the Bears. So again, I have to ask the question, was I right or was I right? Because I told you all that the Lions offense was going to be fine. That the Lions defense was going to be fine. And in fact, the Lions offense was even more than fine. They absolutely threw up all over the Bears. They blew the Bears out 52-21. Think about that. After only scoring 13 points the previous week, they come back the next week. And literally, if I do my math in my head really quickly, which obviously, I'm not the greatest mathematician, but they outdid themselves by what? 3.5 or almost 4 times as much in terms of offensive scoring production they did the previous week. And then think about this on top of that. The Lions didn't score their first and only touchdown last game against the Packers until the last drive of the game for them. They scored touchdown drives their very first 2 drives, and then from the end of the second quarter going into the second half, they scored 6 scoring drives consecutively, with 5 of those 6 being touchdowns. The Lions absolutely annihilated, destroyed, blew up the ever-living hell out of the Bears and Ben Johnson. And think about this. This is what's also kind of funny. This was actually said during the broadcast. The Lions scored 50-plus points for the 3rd time in the last calendar year. So, to all you people out there who wanted to say, oh, well, Goff can't do well without Ben Johnson because he couldn't do well without, Sean McVay. Oh, you know what? John Morton's not going to be able to get this offense to play well. John Morton's not going to be able to make this offense be the way it used to be. Not only did that happen, but it happened in absolutely epic flying colors. When the literal second game of the season, you come out and you score 52 points, that right there ought to tell you something because, oh, that's right. The Lions are the first team in the NFL this year that scored a 50-burger. Think about that. They are the first team that put up 50 points in one game. Not the Bills, not the Ravens, not the Chiefs, not the Packers, just the Lions are the only team so far that have put up a 50-burger. Only team so far that have done that. And think about this as well. The Packers scored 27 points in the last 2 games combined. 27 points in the last 2 games. So, okay, 27 in the first game, 27 in the second game. So not 27 points combined, but they scored 27 points over those last 2 games together. So they got 27 in both, right? So 25 and 25, that right there is 50. That means that in one game, the Lions nearly matched exactly what the Packers have done over their first 2 weeks. Because the Packers have scored 54 points in 2 weeks, the Lions scored 52 in one damn afternoon. And then think about this as well. Over the course of this afternoon, the Lions had a grand total of 507 yards, 334 total passing yards, 173 rushing yards, and they were 6 of 7 in the red zone. They were nearly flawless, perfect in the red zone. The Lions were absolutely efficient, and they dominated the Bears in every way imaginable. And a lot of that is due to the fact of what I said the Lions absolutely had to fix. Execution. Y'all wanted to say, no, it's the talent, it's John Morton, it's this, that, and the other thing. It's not just the execution. So then explain to me how we go from scoring 13 points in one game to scoring 52 in the very next one. You don't have a massive jump like that unless it's execution. Because let's understand something here. Everybody's been wanting to say all offseason that the Bears defense got way better. They got Dennis Allen, one of the best defensive coordinators that you could possibly get your hands on. And literally within the span of 1 week, they literally go from 13 points in one game to 52 the next. That right there shows I was right all damn day long. And for all you people who wanted to crucify my ass, wanted to say I didn't know ball, said I was just being a slappy, all of these negative, absolutely insulting comments, I believe you owe an apology to not only the Lions, but to John Morton, to Jared Goff, to Dan Campbell, and, not to point it out too lightly, myself. Because not only were the Lions absolutely efficient and dominated the Bears in every single way imaginable, think about this. Like I said, the Lions literally had to go until the very end of that first game to score their first touchdown, right? And this one they scored in the first 2 drives. But then they had those 6 straight, scoring drives. The Lions were able to put up 24 unanswered points until the Bears scored a rushing touchdown with DeAndre Swift. 24 unanswered points. That means that not only was the Lions offense cooking, the Lions defense was also cooking. Because when you put up 24 unanswered points, that means not only is the offense doing what it needs to do, the defense is keeping the offense of the opposing team at bay as well. Now, let's talk about some other points of that offense. The offensive line, which everybody wanted to crucify last week about how, Tate Ratledge was terrible. Chris Mahogany was terrible. Graham Glasgow needs to go. We need to bring back Frank Ragnow. Blah, 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 blah. Like I said, the Lions had 173 rushing yards. 173. What does that mean? That means that those offensive linemen, whether it was Glasgow, whether it was, Sewell, whether it was Ratledge, whether it was Mahogany, whether it was Decker, they were opening up holes and giving plenty of opportunities for those guys to make plays. They absolutely did their job. They fixed the communication problems. They fixed the execution problems, just like John Morton said they would, just like I was saying they would. And not only did they do a great job in that, but think about this. The entire afternoon, they didn't give up a single sack. The only sack they gave up was on a play that was negated by offsetting penalties, which reset the down. Other than that, nobody got anywhere close to Goff. Goff had to move around in the pocket a couple of times, but that shows again that, like I've said before in the past, while Goff is not the most mobilest quarterback, he has mobility, he can move, and he can extend plays, which Goff had to do a couple of times throughout the game. But that offensive line absolutely did what it needed to do. It provided good pass protection for Goff. It opened up running lanes for, Jahmyr Gibbs and, David Montgomery. Now, speaking of Jared Goff, Goff was absolutely damn near perfect, immaculate. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. Goff last week had an absolutely crazy stat line in terms of having, 31 of 39, 79.5 completion percentage rate, the whole 9 yards there. But he had the 1 interception. There's no way in hell you can say that about this week. Goff absolutely showed Ben Johnson you think I need you in order to be successful? Let me check yourself at the door because I don't need you. Just like I didn't need Sean McVay when I had you. Because look at the stat line that Goff put up. He was 23 of 28 for 82.1 completion percentage rate. He threw even better than he did last week. Had 334 passing yards for 11.9 an average a throw. 5 passing touchdowns, which is a 17.9 touchdown percentage per throw rate. no interceptions, which means a 0 interception percentage per throw rate, and a 156 even passer rating. Almost damn perfect. Again, I don't understand why it's not perfect considering that stat line. 82% completion rate, over 325 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, almost 12 an average a throw. I don't understand how that's not a perfect passer rating, but c'est la vie. It is what it is. The point of the matter is that not only did the Lions offense respond to all the haters, including a great number of them in their own fan base, but Goff responded by saying, oh, I don't need Ben Johnson any more than I needed Sean McVay in order to be a successful quarterback. Because when you go out and you throw 5 touchdown passes to 0 interceptions, and you throw an 80% completion percentage rate, 155 plus passer rating, that right there shows exactly what I've been saying about Goff for years. He is a top 5 quarterback. Now, I know some people are going to say, oh, well, David, that was because, the Bears lost Jalen Johnson throughout the game. Then they also lost TJ Edwards. Then they also didn't have Kyler Gordon. You know what I'm going to say? It's the same thing everybody else in the NFL says. It's next man up. You're getting paid to go out there and play professional ball. You're getting paid to go out there and cover a guy. If you can't do that, then you know what? Sucks to be you. Sucks to suck, Buttercup. The point of the matter is that Goff went out and he did his job, and he did it immaculately, despite all of the arrows, barbs, and everything else that people were trying to throw at him and the offense, that they could not meet the standard that everybody thought they could meet. Not only did they meet the standard, they absolutely blew the hell past it. Because remember, what was the betting line that Vegas gave the Lions? They were 6.5 favorites. The Lions beat the Packers by they beat the Bears by 25 plus points. 25 plus points. Think about that. Actually, beg my pardon, not 25 plus points. They beat them by 30 plus points. Think about that. So not only did they beat the odds of 6.5 point favorites, they almost beat the odds by literally 5 times as much as what Vegas was giving them. And think about this. Not only was Goff immaculate in terms of that stat line, but he was immaculate in every single phase of the game. He was immaculate in short passing, medium passing, and long passing, hitting passes all over the Bears defense, including a beautiful 44-yard bomb to Jameson Williams, of which Jameson Williams absolutely had himself a day. But the funny part about it is, while that might have been the highlight, of somebody's offense, you then also have to talk about how Amon-Ra St. Brown also had a 100-yard day, because Jameson Williams had a 100-yard day. But Amon-Ra St. Brown also had 3 tutties on top of that. So he had 100-plus yards receiving and also had 3 tutties on top of that. But I'm going to tell you this right now. The best highlight catch of the entire day, once again, goes to freaking Isaac Tesla. The guy had 1 catch the previous week, absolutely stole the show then, and despite everybody else having themselves a day at Ford Field today, he still stole the show again. The dude is literally Chris Carter 2.0. I mean, I don't know how else to describe him. The guy literally just goes out and makes these one-handed catches look like absolutely effortless. First catch of his entire career, he makes a one-handed grab with both feet down in the sideline of the back of the end zone in Green Bay. Then his very next one, he makes a great freaking catch on the right sideline, just going into the red zone in this game. And both of them are one-handed catches. I mean, for a guy that literally is a rookie and his first 2 career grabs are highlight reel grabs, I don't think there is another receiver that has ever played in the NFL that can literally say their first 2 grabs in the NFL are highlight reel grabs. I can't think of one. That's why I say Chris Carter 2.0, because it's like, whenever I watched Chris Carter's highlights, that's all that guy ever did. It seemed to be like the guy was just making one-handed catches look like they were effortless, like that was just his routine. But as I mentioned earlier, it wasn't just the Lions offense that was absolutely playing the ever-living snot out of the freaking Bears. It was also our defense. Now, I will say this. The defense did take a little bit longer to get going. But think about this. The freaking Lions defense allowed less points to the Bears than they did last week against the Packers, so that's a win. We allowed 6 less points. The The Lions got 2 turnovers this game, whereas last week they got none. They got a fumble off of a Brian Branch hit that absolutely jarred it out of Swift's hands, and they got an interception by Kirby Joseph after freaking Caleb Williams just decided to throw it up and say, hey, you know what, I hope someone gets underneath it. I just bet he wasn't hoping it was going to be Kirby Joseph. And then, on top of that, the Lions got 4 sacks in this game. 1 from Branch, 1 from Hutch, 1 from Davenport, and 1 from Muhammad. So 3 of their edge rushers got sacks, and their safety got a sack. And also the Lions got 2 fourth down stops. So think about it. Not only did they have 2 drives where they got turnovers, but they also forced 2 turnovers on downs because the Bears decided to go for it on 4th down because Ben Johnson thought he was going to try and outdo Dan Campbell. The Lions absolutely played a complete game, and they did so in the most embarrassing fashion towards Ben Johnson and the Bears that you could possibly imagine. The Bears absolutely got depantsed, because think about this. The Bears last week against the Vikings, they barely lost to the Vikings. And that was also an embarrassing loss to them then because, hey, they were up 17-6 at the halftime period and then lost 24-27. But think about this. By, the halftime period, it was already 28-14. The Lions were up. And then, from there, the Lions didn't look back. The Lions did not look back. They just absolutely kept rolling. So, you want to talk about an embarrassment? Pretty much the Lions almost, for the entire point of the game, after the halfway point, pretty much never let the Bears come anywhere close to sniffing it again. At least when the Bears were up against the Vikings, again, a team that was with a rookie quarterback, it was competitive. But when you go up against an offense that is as talented as this one is, with a top 5 quarterback like what Goff is, this is the result you get when you play against a team like this. I guarantee you this, if this offense that we just saw today had played against the Green Bay Packers last week, it would have been a completely different outcome. Whether or not we would have won, nobody knows. But you know what? We'll find out here later on in the season, one way or the other. But my whole point is this. For all of you Lions doubters, for all of you critics, for all you naysayers, for all you negative Nancys, you have to eat a big, and I do mean a big serving of crow, and you owe a lot of damn apologies. Just saying, own up to your mistakes because you made a lot of them this week. And I think you owe it to a lot of people to say, sorry, we were wrong. But anyway, folks, I'm going to end this episode. I have said my piece on this, but I'm going to obviously talk more about it in subsequent episodes. But until that time, I just want to say thank you all for watching in another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, I highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also encourage y'all to do one of these 3 things, like, comment, and subscribe. If by chance you just subscribed and you forgot to do so, or you subscribed in the past and you did not do so at the time, I want to highly encourage y'all, please, make sure you hit that bell notification icon so you guys never miss any more content that I push out. Hope y'all are doing well. I'm especially thinking you're going to be doing well after the absolute ass-kicking we gave the Bears. But until the next time we meet, I just want to say God bless, and I'll see y'all later.